Of all the mistakes to make, please don't make this one. So I think one of the hardest things for a person to get over or get through is a relationship that's kind of on again, off again. And what I mean by that is when it's someone that you've just tried to make it work with several times. I think it's really easy to fall into the trap of why you should go back to someone. And this is the main way that I see people justifying going back to someone when they shouldn't. So I want to talk about it because it's a very easy pitfall that a lot of you are falling into. So something that I'm seeing a lot with my friends who are dating, that I've definitely done, that's so easy to do, is when you break up and you finally go back out into the world to look for a new significant other, whether that be by going on dates or you're just meeting people that are potentially someone that you could be interested in, but then you're seeing all these red flags, right? So let's say like you just entered back into the world of dating, and then everyone you're coming across is awful. This person does this poorly, this person does that poorly, and you're just seeing a lot of red flags with people. And then so therefore you think, oh my God, like you freak out, right? And you go into this like black mindset and you wonder, what if the person I had actually wasn't that bad? Because look at how terrible what's out there is. Like, look at everyone, like they're actually so much worse than what I had. And then you immediately run back to the person that you were with because you think they're the best you're ever gonna get. And what if you're missing out by letting them go? Because look at what's out there. And the reason that this is such a big mistake is several, but the big one is what you're doing in your comparison here is actually really incorrect. So if you've been dating this, like if you and your ex were together for a significant amount of time, which I assume in most cases is what it is. So I would say anywhere from like 3 months on is a significant amount of time, right? Like if it's less than 3 months, you really don't know them that well. But if you've been dating them for 3 months or more, and there's been red flags that have come up, or relationship issues and complications, and just things that you couldn't necessarily compromise on that caused you to then break up with them, it's not fair to compare those issues with what you find unattractive or nerve-wracking with a new person. So like if are comparing a relationship that you've been in a very long time to a person you've met for maybe just a couple interactions or a couple dates or whatever it is, the amount of time is not a fair comparison. Like you're already making a mistake by comparing either of those things, because I guarantee if you were to then go and date any of these people that you're coming across in the dating field that are red flags, if you gave them that amount of time of investment and trust and built enough time to actually form a relationship with them, they would be on the same footing as your ex. Like 9 times out of 10 guarantee it. Unless there's like obviously really terrible red flags, that's different, sure. But the reason why when you leave a relationship you're noticing all these red flags is because you're now on the lookout for them, because you just left a relationship because you finally got into the mindset of, I'm not going to settle, and these are like red flags for me. These are, I draw the line here. These are not things that I'm going to settle for. So if you go with those glasses, like instead of rose-colored glasses, you have, just regular old like laser glasses that are looking for problems everywhere. If that's how you're looking at anyone you interact with after having just left a relationship, you are going to find a lot of problems that maybe you wouldn't necessarily notice. And that's great, because I think there's nothing wrong with like knowing what you want and not settling for less. But you can't approach new people like that and then expect it to be a fair fight, because at the end of the day, our brains are looking for where they can feel safe. And sometimes that might be in a traumatic or harmful relationship, because they feel safe because they at least know what to expect. So you might stay with your ex a lot longer than you should, not because they're good for you, but because your brain at least feels safe with knowing what to expect. And the idea of leaving that situation, even if it is a traumatizing situation, is more anxiety inducing to your brain because at least it knows what this is. So its fight or flight isn't triggered here. Not having anyone, fight or flight is majorly triggered because it hasn't done that in so long, right? So because of that, we can't compare what bothers us with our ex to brand new people because our brain is already looking for reasons not to like them because it doesn't feel safe with them, it doesn't know them. So then our brain is going to automatically want to go back to what it knows and what it feels comfortable with. So just when you leave a relationship, know that there's a reason, most likely, that you left the relationship, that there were problems that didn't make sense that you weren't going to compromise on. And do not make the mistake of when you enter back into the dating world, only giving it a couple of tries or giving it very short amount of time with people before deciding that you must run back to your terrible ex. The lesson is not that you had something that was pretty good and you should stick with it because men are terrible. That is not the lesson, okay? When we go out into the dating world and see these red flags in people that are so obvious and you freak out or whatever, all you should do is look up at the universe and say, thank you, universe. I am so grateful that now I'm in a place where I can identify the red flags in a person, where I'm not going to settle for less. Thank you for making it so obvious that this person has things that qualities that do not align with mine, and therefore I'm not wasting my time. So thank you for making it so easy for me to move on and keep looking. That is all you should be concluding from those people. You should not be taking the lesson that then you should be running back to your ex because they weren't as bad. Because at the end of the day, I promise you, you would much rather take the obvious red flags of people that you can then move on from than your ex who has that red flags that are going to pop up once in a while that then cause you to loop over and over again into the course of staying with them, compromising, settling, being sad, leaving, getting back together with them, and over and over and over again because the red flags are subtle and you can sometimes tolerate them and sometimes not. That is not better. In that situation, your ex still is worse because their red flags are confusing enough to waste so much of your time, sometimes years of your time, spent on a relationship that's not even actually that great. So just do yourself a favor, okay? If you left your ex and there's a substantial amount of reasons as to why, do not go back to them just because you meet a couple of other people that you are less compatible with afterwards, okay? Do not assume that your sample size is representative of what's really out there. Just don't settle, okay? All right. Thank you all so much for watching, and and welcome again to my channel. I will be posting a new video every week. So thank you.